I am Chris Kendall, co-founder of Comprehend, a PT, and I'm here with Jake Michalski, our CEO, and more importantly, my cousin. We want to dive into history of Comprehend first, and then we'll go into what we're going to do in the future and kind of open floor, Jake. I know we usually go through the origin story kind of quick, but I feel like this is your time to shine where you could really talk about like the struggle you went through to actually start Comprehend. Like I saw it firsthand, but we should give everybody kind of a in-depth look into what the first year or two was like.
Yeah. First year and two were terrible. We're brutal. If we rewind the clock even more though, gosh, this has always been my dream to just be an entrepreneur, to start my own business. That's always been what I wanted to do, what I knew at my soul I was supposed to do. And growing up, my parents said, no, you're going to be an engineer. And that was the best thing for me actually, because I didn't even want to go to college. I was like, oh, I'll just like start a business. It'll be easy. But instead they're like, no, you should probably go to school. It's probably a decent idea, as is with most people in my generation. Your parents tell you to go to school and you kind of do what they say for the most part. So rewind the clock a little bit more. I'm 12, make my first iPhone app. It was this baseball tracking app that would my mom had an iPhone. I played baseball. And so it would give you a score, innings, outs, all that stuff. And that way she could keep track on her phone. And it was cool, made this app. It was neat. Got rejected from the App Store. Big bummer. Little Jakey was quite upset. But ended up making a game that did get published. So it's all right, whatever. Fast forward a few more years, I was starting to build jet skis. My dad had these stand-up jet skis. And they were fun. They were exciting. I always wanted to ride them. I'd rode them when I was little. They didn't work anymore. So I'm like, hey, Dad, can you fix these? He's like, go do it yourself. Go fix them. So I did. I spent a lot of time on the internet trying to fix them, fell asleep by the jet skis frequently, and eventually got it done. Sold those jet skis, bought and sold all through high school, then got to college. And in college, I made these cocktail table arcade cabinets where it's hard to describe. You sit on both sides of it. There's glass. Underneath the glass, there's a computer screen. You look at it and you can play Frogger with your friends, and it would switch around 180 degrees and you could play back and forth. Old retro. It was so cool. Super fun. Cost me about $200-300 in parts, and I would sell them for like $1,000. So a decent profit, but very quickly realized that was time for money. It was taking like 40 hours to build them. So not really a great hourly wage, but you can make some money. At that point, I'm like, okay, there's got to be a better way. So I'm like, all right, I want to sell stocks with code. And if I just trade, then I'll just get a percentage every single day. And then 1% on $1 million, that's a great return every single day. That'd be wild. Well, I tried that for all of college. I thought that was going to be it. That was going to be the thing, and just couldn't do it. Ended up day trading Zoom, which at the time wasn't the Zoom we know today. Thinking it was going to go down in price because my algorithm that I created said this stock has a 50% likelihood of going down 3% today. So I shorted it, ended up losing like $200 in the first 2 minutes of market open. Figured that wasn't a great idea. We're going to do paper trading first. Fast forward a little bit more and got a job at Moog Inc. They do actuation systems for planes. The cooler version of that story is that I wrote code for top secret military planes and satellites that are going to shoot down hypersonic missiles from space with lasers. Sounds really cool and exciting, but was actually kind of boring. We would spend 2 weeks writing code to verify that was correct for 2 years. And that isn't the most exciting thing in the world. It wasn't terrible. I could have done it for the rest of my life, but I wanted something a little more exciting. So on the side, I was like, hey, Chris, how's those notes coming? Because 8 years prior on Christmas, he was doing notes. He was a traveling PT at the time, that Chris over there. Traveling PT. So California, Florida, Arizona, all over the States. Do you remember that dinner by chance?
I do. It's always blurry because we go to so many houses on Thanksgiving, Christmas, but like I remember sitting at your parents' kitchen table.
Yeah.
And I think Leanne and I were complaining about documenting.
Yeah.
And you were in college or maybe just going into college. You're like, hey, I could do that for you. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. But like, let's be real.
Yeah. I think so too. I can't remember if I remember that or if I know it to be true because you said it. Like, because I have a picture in my mind sitting at my parents' house, and Ann is there, Chris is there, my dad was there. We're all just kind of shooting the shit, whatever, and documentation comes up, and I'm like, that's the kind of thing AI would be good at. Like, and I wrote it down because you guys were like, yeah, that would be amazing. Like, that would be great. And I'm like, the technology's not there yet, but give it like 10 years and maybe it will be. And I wrote it down in the reminders app on my phone. I want to like find the reminder and print it or something. It's like that legendary.
Because I remember your dad always would get fired up that you and your sister, both engineers, you guys got paid for your internships and like paid pretty well. Where as a PT, we do 4 or 5 internships and we pay tuition to go work 40 hours and not see anything for it. So your dad always get fired up about that. So like I remember that going on, and then I was working like it was like my first or second job when we actually came up with the idea like, oh, AI could do this. I'm like, that'd be great, because I was already in the thick of it, documenting. I was taking documentation home during the holidays. Like I was working in Virginia, and I came home, was writing the eval, and it kind of all blurs together because then I remember being at your kitchen table, that first version of Comprehend, and like I remember what it looks like and what it did, and that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was like prime. I'm gonna rewind just a little bit. Before I had the great idea and like rediscovered this from the reminders app. So go whatever. We had that sit down in the kitchen. Fast forward a bunch of years. Chris is still doing traveling PT, comes home, whatever, does all that. But I was bored at my job, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do consulting. I'm just going to go like, and I have this website. You might be able to find it still. It's jmautomationgroup.com. And the tagline is "We sell time." It's definitely still live. I bring it up every once in a while as like a homage to how Comprehend started. Colors are red and black, very techy, very nerdy.
I found one of your cards the other day.
Yeah, they're cool. Isn't that funny? It's cool. I made myself a logo and a website and all this stuff, and then I tried to get some customers. No, crickets, pure crickets. Nothing even happened. And I sent a bunch of cold emails, got a domain spot, did all the technical stuff that I thought you had to do to start a business that I knew how to do, the website, the email, like the business cards. Went and like walked into like places to try to sell, and they're like, "Get lost, kid." It's like, oh, nobody's answering my calls, nobody answers my emails, and I'm like, all right, like I just wanted to code for people and have them pay me like $100 an hour. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. Turns out, yeah, it's not that easy. I'm trying to think. That website's fun. Started to get into business a little bit. So big Alex Hormozy guy, if you're trying to learn about business, this is on his rise when he had probably like 200K followers-ish. So I like not super early, but kind of early. And learned about this thing called an offer. And so I crafted an offer. It's called the Trailblazing Tech Offer. And if you go to the website, you'll find it. It's kind of funny. But basically, for $500, I am going to save you. I'm going to write you a script and write you code and make you an app that's and I wasn't really good at writing apps. I didn't know how to do that. But for $500, I'll make you an app. I'll write you code that's going to automate a process that will save you at least 500 hours in the first year. And I'm like, this is a smoking deal. Is your time worth more than $1 an hour? Our tagline is "We sell time." And like, that is exactly what you're doing. So nobody ever took me up on that, but I tried to sell it. Didn't hit. So when I got sick of cold calling, cold email, and outreach, I'm like, who can I just help for free? And that's when I went back to the reminders app. And I'm like, oh yeah, Chrissy's still doing notes. Yeah, they still great. Like, hold that thought. I think I did jump ahead a little bit. There's another version of this story right about this time where I'm just kind of playing with new technology. I'm a big fan of like staying up to date on what's out there, what's possible. Because when I encounter a problem, I'll have all the tools available to solve that problem. So I was playing with GPT-2 on my local laptop. Everybody knows ChatGPT now, but at the time it was this obscure thing that my friends in college were using to write their essays. And there were some wrappers around it where you could get it to do something like SaaS model. This is pre-ChatGPT though, so it wasn't mainstream, it was very expensive and didn't really work that well. So I spun that up on my local laptop and made the program that would record. Sorry, I jumped ahead again. I made a Chrome extension. It wasn't even a Chrome extension. It would monitor a Google Doc. And if you put something in the header, you would put a prompt in the header. It would reply in the document. So it's like, write me an intro paragraph about blah, or write me a conclusion, or like read what I have right now and write another like middle paragraph about blah. And you put in the header and it would spit something out into your Google Doc. Well, that's freaking great for a student. Gosh, I'm still in student mode. And so that was like my first foray into GPT and GPT-2 and stuff. All on my local laptop, and not apparently value creative. But if I had the right use case, like, it would be interesting. So that's when I go to my notes app, find the note about notes on Christmas, and said, let's do more of that. So that's when I made that first proof of concept. That was a Python script on my local laptop that paired with GPT-2 and some like, I think I was using like Google's transcription API that's free for limited use case, personal use case, and paired them together. And I would click enter to run my script. And I'm like, all right, come over here and like do the evaluation on my mom in front of the laptop. And then at the end, hit enter. And then in a computerized voice, it would say, ask me any question. I didn't know what kind of question you would ask. And it was a right humorous. I want to say it like got it kind of right. I think you or Leanne had asked where was the injury, and it said arm. And you're like, what about the sound? Do you remember that part of it?
Yeah, because I remember I was blown away at like what it did already. Like, it wrote a soap note for me. You didn't even know what that was. I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, it told me like what the injury was. It said like what her range of motion was. But I was like, all right, well, can I write my note? And it wrote me a full soap note right then and there. I'm like, damn, this is cool. Like, this is the future. And then we kind of went from there. But going forward from that, building out the company. So we did MVP. I told you it was going to be great. But for me, it was like, Leanne and I are very analytical. We're like, okay, like, this is cool, but we know this can take a while. Like, this would be awesome if it was true. And everybody I talk to now, like every demo I do, people are like, oh, I had this idea 10 years ago, but like I didn't know how to do it. I'm like, yeah, me either. But I had a cousin that did.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? I know kind of timeline, like you quit your job, went all in, because Lana and I were like, that, are you sure? Like, that's a big step. I mean, we're glad you did it now, but what was your thought process then? Like, beginning of the company as you started to grow?
Yeah. So the proof of concept was interesting. I didn't know how to write JavaScript, didn't know HTML. So built out this static React app that would hit my personal server at home. And it looked like it was from the 90s because I didn't know how to code yet. And chat was not good enough yet to write me things that looked nice. So build that proof of concept, shoot out a bunch of cold emails, still while I'm working, still my full-time job. Did my full-time job for about 9 months and was just burning the candle at both ends and just a shell of like myself. I would get on calls and just be like, ugh, drained. If you look at some of our early YouTube videos, like look at the timestamp. It's pretty funny. 2 a.m., 6 a.m. Like, did I get up early or did I stay up all night? You don't know. I don't recall, but I think I did stay up all night for that one. I think it was YPT2 that I was building for. But it was just pain. It was like pure pain. Like, I'm just going to like work so hard because I don't know what to do. So if I work hard enough, like I'll have done enough things in total that I did the right things. And I didn't know which ones were the right things, but I did a bunch of stuff. So just pure pain and shell of myself and not really making any tangible progress. And the thing that pushed it over the edge for me was, Hormozi talks about this a little bit, like which one do you regret more? It's like having made this decision or not getting this thing. What I had rationalized to myself was that I needed to quit my job because the opportunity was so large that the amount of money I would lose in the next little while or not have made in the next little while was, say, $100,000. Say a lot. Like, that's a lot at the time. But the upside is millions of dollars. So I would regret not having taken the shot. And I would never regret. I would only regret not having taken the shot than having taken it and failed. And I actually went into it thinking, okay, like I'm going to succeed eventually. I just have to be willing to fail 3 times. And so I was like, all right, this one's going to fail, but it seems like a pretty decent idea. Like, let's run at it. And it might fail, and that's okay. Like, I need to fail 3 times before I succeed. And Hormozi's like, get the 100 no's or get the 99 no's, and you might get a yes, but like, don't run at it like I need to go get a yes. Run at it like I need to go get 99 no's. run at this, like, I need to fail 3 times because on the 4th one, you'll be successful. And like the statistics on startups are bad, but it's like 3rd time founders have a pretty decent success rate. So I was like running it at like all these things combined. And it's like, all right, I have a bunch of money in cash. I don't need a job. I live at home. Don't have any. And was like, all right, we're going to send it. We're going to do the thing. Cross your fingers. And look where we are. Look where we are. We're having a podcast.
Yeah, it's come a long way for sure. I remember when I officially joined on, it was like 2 months in a row of like, you were reaching out like, hey, this PT wants to talk to a PT. Hey, like, what do I answer? Like, what are they even talking about? It was like a progress note versus discharge. And that's when I was like, all right, I think I'm just going to officially join in. I had already started my cash PT company 2-3 years prior to that. And I was like, all right, well, I'll put that on hold and go all in on this. And so we both went through our struggles in the first couple of years.
Yeah, and I felt bad because you just started your thing. It was starting to really roll and rock, and I'm like, I can't ask you to step away from your own thing to join my thing. That I'm like, this might fail. Like, I just need to fail 3 times. It's like very difficult to get you to join, but I appreciate that you did.
Yeah, and it's been fun. I don't recommend starting 2 companies when you have a new kid at each stage, but it's been good so far. The saving grace is that you're family. So when my wife gets mad at me for working late, it's for family. But back to Comprehend. If there was one thing that you noticed made the biggest difference for the company, for the product, like what do you think it was? Like what was the turning point?
People are all, like you said, people are all like, I had this idea, like this is like, sure, 10 years ago, the timing wasn't right. The timing wasn't right when we started. The timing wasn't right a year in. But at a year and 1 month in, the foundational models had gotten good enough where they could actually do something useful. And by then, we had already figured out a lot of the nuances about usability and UI, and we learned a bunch of stuff about software and SaaS and how to win. And we had already had some market positioning because we spent a lot of money on marketing and outreach, and we knew the market dynamics so that when the technology was ready, we were primed to take it. So, like, what was the turning point? That I think it's probably like October of 2024. And so, for those doing the math, we had first proof of concept in October of 22. I quit my job in August of 23. It took until like, I think I said October 24, November 24. It's like August of 24, somewhere in that late 24 timeframe, Q3, Q4, 2024, when it actually started to hit because the foundational models made it. We learned enough about UI and usability that it was useful. And we had EMR integrations, which we had already built on the bad models, so that it all just clicked and gelled right at that time. So that's when everything changed. And we knew enough about the market. The models were there. Like, that's what I vividly remember as being like, all right, it's right there. Like, that's the magic. Yeah. What about you? Do you remember a moment in time when it all changed?
I remember going from 1 user to 5 users to 10 users to a possibility. We almost landed a 25 like person clinic, and like we were so excited. This is it. Like that was our one chance. And now looking back at that, I'm like, that was just like a mild blip on the radar of Comprehend. But I feel like honing in the integrations into the EMRs is like where we finally hit that like threshold of like people saw how useful it was right away. And then we just kind of took off. So
yeah.
The integration it's been good, but now I know you love this part, but if there was one thing on the roadmap that you're excited to talk about, like share that now and then give like an overview of like, where do you think we're going in the next year or two?
Heck yeah, you know the answer. Comprehend Live is my favorite. It's my baby. It's the thing. Like if this is what I was sent to Earth to do, I am so happy about it. And what is Comprehend Live? It's the reality of you walk into a clinic. I gotta find it. It adds to the effect. All right, you walk into the clinic and you put on your Meta Ray-Bans, and it just starts listening. It's always there. Maybe you put them on your way to work. But you can say stuff like, hey, comprehend, who's my next patient? Hey, comprehend, tell me more about him. Hey, comprehend, finish my note. No more hands on a keyboard. And in your display, it's presenting relevant information for you. Who's here? Who just walked in the door? Who just checked in? Hey, like, you should probably run Hawkins Kennedy on Jimmy today. All of that just in your glasses. No more hands on a keyboard. No more ever looking at a computer. And at the end of your day, you take them off and you're done. You go home, spend time with your family. That's what we're really, really excited about. That's what we think is the future. Whether or not it manifests itself in the Meta Ray-Bans or maybe our nice little lapel mics. Lapel mics are great. Just throw one of these bad boys on at the beginning of your day and it's always listening. And yeah, it can't talk back to you because the Metas have a speaker. It can't talk back to you and it can't show you display, but you just stare over at your computer and you get the pop-ups you need. That's what we have right now. And we're super excited to be launching here soon, where it's like totally ambient, totally hands-off. It knows who's in the clinic. It can give you clinical nudges throughout the day. And oh yeah, it's going to push your EMR in the background. How can we get to a point where providers show up, they see their patients, they help people get better, and they go home? No more hands on a keyboard, no more notes at the end of the day. That's the dream state. That's where we're headed. Comprehend Live, which you've seen it. A lot of people, everyone internally has seen it. Not many people on the outside have seen it. But this Comprehend Live assistant, this agentic ambient automation, there's all sorts of bingo buzzwords that we could throw around to go behind it. But it's this idea that providers get to show up, help people get better, and go home. No more necessary hands on the keyboard, notes at the end of the day. You have your clinical assistant in your ear giving you all the clinical cues. Hey, do Hawkins Kennedy. Hey, yada, yada. That's the dream. That's where we're headed.
And like, as a clinician, I still treat at my cash practice. The thought of just showing up, putting on, whether it's a lapel mic, the glasses, like I don't even wear glasses, and having them on, like it was so cool to like ask it a question about my patient. Because every therapist listening will know, you look at your computer, you're like, okay, Jake is here. I walk 3 steps out the door. I'm like, who's my patient? Like, I already forgot his name. Like, which one's here? Walk back to my computer. Like, having that, like, that alone would save me 10 minutes a day just walking back and forth with my computer. But, like, the thought of walking in at 8 a.m., putting the glasses on, treating all my patients, having somebody that I can ask questions to as I'm, like, going between patients, and then literally close my laptop and go home. Like, that's the dream of every therapist. Like, we all like to treat. We just hated documenting. And like, this is the future now. So what do you see us in 2 years from now?
Golly, 2 years? If we have our way, everyone in the world, every PT everywhere is using Comprehend in some form, whether it's the free version, the regular version, or Comprehend Live, the pro version. Also, that's a spoiler. Everybody knows about Comprehend. Everybody's using it. Everyone has this clinical assistant that they can ask questions to, that are giving them clinical nudges and giving them relevant clinical cues. That's my vision of the world. If we really get a hold of the market, we get supported everywhere. Every large enterprise, every SMB has Meta Ray-Bans walking around the clinic. And maybe we even use like the camera to get like range of motion, so you don't have to have a goniometer, and giving you things that you wouldn't have thought about because we can see as well. Whether or not the vision's there, I don't know. I don't know if the sight part of it is spot on. That might be a little creepy still. Give that one 10 years. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where we go with Comprehend. I see your wheels turning. On vacation last week, I was just getting a piece of like what's running in your mind and like everything you're thinking about. Like, it's going to be cool. I'm excited for the conferences in the fall this year where we start to really show off some more stuff we have. But the podcast will be fun. I plan to have a few people on, and like you said, like we don't even want Comprehend users. We want just the best of the best people like that are doing different things, because that's what we did with Comprehend. We did something different in the rehab world. So if you know anybody that you think would be a great guest, like I think this could be fun. Really show the outside of just treating. Like there's so much more to the rehab world. But we got a lot of good guests already lined up, and we're looking forward to more people coming on soon. Any last word for the episode 1?
Oh, man, I'm excited to look back and laugh at this. And I hope we're dead on. I hope that we're like, dang, like he saw it 10 years early or 3 years early, or maybe it's about to happen. But I can't wait to look back and watch this and think, dang, like there was something special there.
All right, well, that's the end of episode 1, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Peace.